All right, here we are, mining content from the internet. Welcome to day 11 of the 13 days of Stitch Witchery. Today is Cursed Stitches. This is from Reddit, username current event. They said, "This one hurt. I was gifted a bunch of my grandma's old sewing supplies after she had passed. In the box was a cutout and slightly started 70s tracksuit made of stretchy terry cloth. I was a beginner and so eager to finish the project for my grandma that I didn't research how to sew stretch fabrics at all. The end result after doing a pant leg looked awful. That sucks. Sorry to hear that. My grandma had already started one pant leg and it looks like she made the same mistakes I did. Turned into a multi-generation mistake. I know I can unpick the seams and try again, but I think the project needs to stay in the project pile for a while on behalf of my grandma, who kept in her project pile for 50 plus years." Fair enough. Keep it in the family. Here's another one from Saga Sujin. Sorry if I mispronounced that. "I have failed so many times, so many. Among the more dramatic incidents was the time my iron failed and went out in a blaze of glory that lit the cotton fabric I was ironing on fire. That's terrifying. It was just some sparks at the exact wrong place and time, and I ended up with part of my dress up in flames. That sucks. It was less than a week before the anime convention that I was making the outfit for, so I ended up not having a new cosplay ready in time. Oh, I'm so sorry." But that's just like a thing that is totally out of your control, but it also is, it doesn't make it suck any less. They also said, "More recently, I failed at pattern drafting because I managed to forget to include seam allowance when I was drafting the neckline. So I accidentally made the neckline on my already low-cut dress considerably lower and in danger of nip slips." That is very low. Like, that's okay, dude. Like, you can have, like, a slightly lower cut neckline. That's okay. I was patterning this top with my pattern maker. It was a lot higher originally, and I was like, lower, make it lower. But I mean, you don't want it to be quite so low that your nips are hanging out. Next one, this user account has been deleted. This is from 3 years ago. Sorry, I can't credit you. This person says, "I sewed a floral peasant top out of a big splashy print. I didn't have enough fabric and had to shorten the sleeves. I was so focused on making the pattern pieces fit, I forgot the most important thing to check. Ended up with a sunflower centered proudly over each nipple." Be a recurring thing. "It wasn't a complete failure as I wear it back to front." Okay, well that's good. That's a good little tip for you sewists out there who are maybe starting out or not. You could be more experienced. Still ends up like that. Wear the piece backwards. This one comes from username Poem in My Pocket from 3 years ago. "I'm currently making a swimsuit and it's the most difficult pattern I've ever attempted. So it took me about 2 weeks to finish. I was getting so close to the end of it and I was so hungry, but I just kept thinking, I'm almost done. I don't want to get up right now. I'm just going to power through." I've been there as well. "I finished the whole thing and was about to clip my last thread, but my hand was too shaky and, in all caps, I cut a giant hole in the front." That's terrible. "Completely ruined the whole project. Needless to say, I was devastated. Once I calmed down, in brackets, and had dinner, I was fine. I redid it, which only took 3 days on my second attempt since I had the practice, and it turned out even better than before. And I will never just power through while sewing again. So I guess it was a learning experience." This one comes from username Gallian Bag, which I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. My Gaelic is a little rusty. From 3 years ago, "I was making a summer top out of a lightweight embroidered cotton. After almost completing the top, I realized I had mixed up the right and wrong sides of the fabric." We've all been there. "The wrong side did not look good. Due to my very careful clipping, trimming, understitching buttonholes, etc., it was not salvageable at all. It wound up as stuffing for a dog bed, which is what I do with scraps. I have been sewing for most of my life. I draft my own patterns. I know what I'm doing. Even people who have been sewing forever are not immune to fails." True dat. "Yay, nice comfortable doggy bed made out of our failures." They don't need to know, they're just dogs. Also from r/sewing from username Peaches of Joy from 5 years ago. "I made the biggest sewing mistake ever. Please stop me from just ending it all." They say, "Good actual Lord, I cannot believe I'm writing this, but I managed to keep it together and keep the tears down so far, so maybe I can make it through typing this without wailing. I'm a relatively newbie/moderate sewer, and I've decided to make a coat for winter. My Nana, a lifelong quilter, said I couldn't. It would be too difficult. Nana, I love you, but don't be a hater. After some psychological warfare from the lady at the fabric store telling me that if I didn't get that mauve fabric, someone else will, and quote, will be walking around with my coat. I dropped some serious dough on Italian wool, $65 per yard. Holy smokes, that is an expensive fabric. Here comes the screw up, God give me strength. I'm finally cutting out the pattern pieces on the fabric and realize that, in all caps, that I got the grain line going the wrong way. When you brush down on the fabric, you get all the fibers rubbing against your hand and it's all prickly and feels like my goddamn legs after not shaving for 2 weeks. I know it's wrong because it's baby's butt smooth going up the fabric. I guess my $230 didn't buy me extra margin for error because I'm out of fabric to fix it. Oof ma goof, my guy. Please tell me I didn't massively ruin it all. I'm so close to tears and I've told everyone about this marvelous new coat I will have, and now it's just going to feel like my coat has a 5 o'clock shadow all the time. I'm so sorry. It's tough when you get excited about a project and you tell people and then it doesn't work out. I do love that you went ahead and decided to make the coat even though your Nana said that you couldn't do it. I think if you really want to make something, even if you're a newer sewer, you should go for it. You're gonna be way more likely to finish a project that you're really excited about doing as opposed to something that you're doing just because it's easy or because it says it's for a beginner. You learn so much from doing projects. I don't think you have to limit yourself based on your skill level because there's always going to be something that you gain from doing any kind of project, even if it doesn't work out exactly the way that you want it to. $65 a yard is a lot. The most I think I've ever paid was maybe $40 a meter, and that was like, I'm treating myself. I'm really sorry the lady at the fabric store kind of almost like upsold you to an Italian wool. It might have been in earnest. I don't know if it was necessarily with malice. I think that if they overheard you saying, I'm working on a coat, they might have wanted to encourage you to use a really nice Italian wool because they thought it would make a nice coat for you, like genuinely thought it would be nice. But and they also don't know your skill level unless you mentioned it. You might have mentioned it. User Peaches of Joy did say, after some psychological warfare from the lady at the fabric store telling me if I didn't get the mauve fabric, someone else will. So it does sound like a little bit of upselling was happening, but just giving this person maybe a little tiny benefit of the doubt. Knowing that you're making a coat, they might have been trying to encourage you to get a high quality fabric because they genuinely thought that that would make a better project for you. They could have also just been trying to upsell you. Again, I'm sorry that they pressured you. It sounds like they kind of pressured you into buying this fancy fabric. If anyone is watching this and they're a newer sewist and they're picking a project that they think might be a little bit outside of their realm of skills, that's great. That's where you learn, that's where you grow as a sewist. But you might want to choose some fabrics that are a little bit on the cheaper side, because if there are mistakes, then it's not a huge financial investment for you. And the opposite of that is if you go, well, I really want to choose this really fancy, expensive fabric. That's also great. But you might want to mentally prepare yourself for the possibility that there may be some mistakes and some issues that you won't be able to fix. Maybe even consider buying extra fabric, even though I know it's already kind of expensive. But the other option is to maybe buy that expensive fabric and a cheap fabric. Start with the cheap fabric. Make your project with the cheaper fabric so that you get a chance to kind of test out the pattern and see where you gonna kind of get those hiccups in the road of your process. And then that way, when you do your proper project, say you're doing a coat like this user, once you're doing your actual coat, then you use the fancy material, then you kind of know, okay, I know that I make mistakes in these areas, this is how I avoid them in the future. So that's a couple different options for you if you're trying a new project, if you're trying something that's a little bit outside of your wheelhouse and you're a little bit nervous. There's definitely an investment when it comes to sewing. Ideally, though, you don't lose money or end up with a project that's completely unwearable. So these are some options to make sure that you still have something that's wearable at the end, or you don't end up spending too much money on a project that you don't end up wearing afterwards. Oh, by the way, today I'm wearing the Persephone top underneath this homemade dress. The Persephone top pattern is available, belladonnapatterns.com, if you want your own version. I think that's it. Thank you to all the people who have posted. Yeah, let me know if you like this video. Stay tuned for more good stuff from Belladonna Patterns. Love you, bye.